My name is Tara from Smart Asana Yoga. I'm here to talk to you about a seated position for meditation. It's really important for you to be comfortable as you're doing your meditation so that it makes it easier to stick with meditation. And you might not feel comfortable in our traditional seated position that you see a lot of meditators doing on the floor. So I have a couple options for you, and I want to explain to you about the anatomy in the hip so that you can understand why it might not work for you to sit on the floor. So there's two factors, there's flexibility and there's anatomy. So sometimes it's just a little pulling in the inner thigh when you're sitting in a cross-legged position. That's understandable. You can work with that and maybe over time you can feel more comfortable. But sometimes it's anatomy. We're all made just a little bit differently. In the hip is made by the thigh bone and the pelvis joining together. So this hip joint here, and more specifically, it's the head of the femur head, and the acetabulum, this opening in your pelvis that come together. It's that ball and socket joint that come together. And for all of us, like I said, we're made a little bit differently. For some people, it's really easy to open that leg out to the side to externally rotate, and for some people, it's not. Sometimes this part, the head of the femur, can be a little bit bigger and the acetabulum, that opening, a little bit smaller. So if you go to open the leg out to the side, the bone will hit the other bone and then you won't be able to open anymore. And it might not have anything to do with flexibility. It's just that the bone hits the bone and that's it. That's as far as you can go. You can't change the bone structure. So what we can do is change our seated position. So I'll show you that traditional seated position and then I'll take it up a little bit to the chair. The more comfortable you are, the easier it will be to stick with your meditation, to be there. And there are so many benefits of meditation. We want to make it easier for you. So I have here on the floor a small cushion and a blanket. And so I sit like that in a cross-legged position we call Sukhasana. We call it easy or comfortable pose. But for you, it might not be easy or comfortable. And if it's not, don't worry about it. If it is, you can sit like this, cross-leg about mid-calf. You want to make sure your feet are a little bit flexed. You don't want them sickling. And you want your knees level with your hips or slightly below. Your hands will rest comfortably on your lap and your shoulders move up and back, so that the shoulders are really coming out from the base of your neck. So this seated position and the crown of the head is tall, lengthening up toward the ceiling. This might be too low for you. So I was saying how the hips are made, or how your body is made, has an effect on your seated position. So if when you sit, your knees are a little bit higher here, they don't open, they don't go down, then you have to raise yourself up so that it is more comfortable for you. So I have this cushion, which is a little bit higher than that cushion that I was sitting on. So here you can see it gives me a lift. And then the muscles here don't grasp, they don't tighten. We don't want tighter hip flexors. We want them to be able to be toned, but not gripping. So in this position, sitting up a little bit higher, it can be more comfortable for you. And still the feet are under the knees, so the knees are lifted a little bit, shoulders up and back, and the crown of the head lengthened. You're not pulling forward with your arms or drawing back too much. They're just resting on your thighs. But if this still doesn't feel comfortable, and for many people it doesn't, you can sit in a chair. You could do meditation in a chair. The important thing here is that the spine is upright and that energy is flowing from a vertical position rather than a horizontal position. So if those seated positions are not comfortable, sit in a chair, knees level with your hips or slightly below, feet firmly planted, and your hands just rest on your lap. And again, the shoulders up and back. You're not pulling forward or back, just resting your hands on your lap in this position. And you can do meditation quite comfortably here. If you need something for under your feet, if your chair is a little bit higher, then you just put something under your feet so they can be firmly planted. But finding this comfortable seat can make your meditation much easier. You won't focus on discomfort from sitting in a position that's not comfortable for you. You'll sit comfortably, sit tall. It might feel a little difficult to have the shoulders up and back at first if you're used to having your shoulders a little bit forward, but the more you do it, the better it will feel. And the more you do meditation, the more benefits you will experience. So hopefully you'll join me for one of my meditations. I have a meditation on Soham. I am that I am, that's what that means. And on loving kindness, a meditation on YouTube, Smart Asana Yoga, on our YouTube channel there. So hopefully you'll join us and do one of our meditations. Namaste.